Stand by.
Firing. Stand by. Welcome to Let's Get Better at Shooting with Jim Krantz.
Jimothy Krantz.
Gymnasium Krantz.
GM Jim Krantz.
Ooh, wow.
GMJK.
GM JK Simmons. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We are talking about how to get better at shooting, because we are constantly trying to get better at shooting. And I think that a lot of you out there probably are too. You're here on this channel because you're interested in guns, and having guns is really cool. And what is cooler than having guns is being really good at shooting your guns. Am I right?
I think you're right.
Yeah. So
No, it's having night armament.
That's actually a good point.
yeah, it's having night armament.
Yeah.
It's actually getting
that's the only thing
night
that's
vision.
cool.
And load bearing kit, that's actually the cool
Mostly
stuff.
cry pants.
Being good at shooting, not nearly as important as load bearing equipment.
Tubes are my personality.
Wow.
Anyways, who are you, Jimothy Krantz?
I'm just a USPSA Grandmaster. And I like pulling triggers and eating Vietnamese food.
Wow.
That's basically my entire personality because I can't afford nods.
We need to talk a little bit about Jim Krantz and why we had him on and why it was so cool for us. So
Why
Jim,
did you have me on?
shut up. This is not about you.
Damn it.
So let's talk about Jim Krantz for a sec.
Jim Krantz.
Is
Who
an
the f*** is
absolute
he?
bro. He's super chill. He's awesome. We love him personally. But why you should care about him is he went from a nobody, an absolute nobody,
An idiot, per se.
stupid,
Yeah.
to a grandmaster USPSA shooter. So like better than top 5% of everybody ever shooting USPSA. Which if you shoot USPSA,
You're already better than everyone else.
exactly
A lot
Yep.
better.
So top 5% of shooters who have ever lived. Think about
In
that.
like 2.5 years. But what I personally think is more important than that is he has a 1.2 build drill, which is
That's very cool.
good.
Super
That's
tactical.
very
super.
That's
you
very
could
good.
Kill like one bad guy in that amount of time.
That's really fast to kill a bad guy. Good
Yes.
job, Jim.
Like,
Nice
let alone
work.
one bad guy six
Nice
times.
work. Jim Krantz making the streets a safer place.
Personally, what I think is really cool about Jim is he has worked his way up from a tacticool C-class level shooter up to a grandmaster, and he's had to figure everything out personally along the way. And he came here to kind of share what he learned along that journey, and it was enlightening for us, and we hope to bring some of that to you guys.
You may be asking yourselves, why should I even do USPSA? That's just a bunch of people gaming, doing gaming stuff.
Game in.
It's just a dumb game. It has nothing to do with the streets, the super cool tactical streets. And
Jim, why do you think that USPSA is a good venue for shooters of any type to build their skills?
I think USPSA provides people with something that they might not get at their local indoor range or in the woods, respectively shooting targets and cleaning up their trash with their friends, or at any mag dump 7-yard tactical class. It gives you a variety of shooting challenges. Some of them are tests of speed, some of them are tests of marksmanship, but ultimately it comes down to putting it all together and racing against some people who are also pretty good at putting that type of stuff together. So you might find a challenge that you never even thought was a real shooting challenge, and you might have to work through that, kind of like in real life, right?
Yeah,
Like
kinda
that's
like
the whole
that,
idea.
yeah.
Get the gun out, brother!
If going to the range once every 6 months and shooting 50 rounds in an indoor range is not allowing you to see the things that you might see in a more dynamic environment, such as drawing from the holster, reloading the gun, or shooting fast at multiple targets, that's where I'd probably think about going to like a USPSA match. Right? It's gonna allow you to do like pretty much all of those things.
So what you're saying is USPSA will make you better at shooting in general?
Yes.
Not just better at USPSA?
That is exactly right.
Wow.
But Jim, I think that shooting is a inseparable skill from tactics. Therefore, shooting and tactics always have to happen in tandem, and shooting by itself is not a skill.
See, I don't own cry pants, so it's a little hard for me to understand that concept. I mean, winning stuff is super cool, but right now I shoot USPSA mostly because it's a really good time to hang out with my friends. And
We had a great time.
we had a ton of fun. I mean, this
We
is
shot a match today and we
yeah,
had a good time.
we had fun.
Yeah.
It's about friendship.
It's about the friends that we made along the way.
We've talked a lot about the stuff that we like about USPSA, about how we think it's a good venue to improve your shooting skills. These shooting skills apply outside of just playing the game, so that's cool.
What?
Sorry, did I just blow your mind? We've talked about how owning a gun is cool, but being good at using your gun is even cooler.
Super cool.
True.
And now let's talk about the bad things about USPSA, because there's some things that are probably holding people back from wanting to go, and you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So here's the stuff that we don't like about it.
Buds.
Buds,
Do it. Do
the
it.
old
Send
men
it. Send
of
it.
USPSA, tell us, take us away. Yeah,
Do you have that one guy at your local club
yeah,
who wears suspenders
yeah,
and tells you to slow down and get your hits?
yes.
We do too.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. It's like he can like teleport
Right.
across the country to different matches, and somehow he's always there to pick up your brass and tell you to slow down and get your hits.
Reacher grabber, picking up
Reacher
the brass, not helping reset. Yeah,
This is the worst thing about
not
USPSA.
good. That is possibly the worst thing.
Yes.
I'm having a hard time thinking of things that are worse than that right now.
Oh, he won't let you play music either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No walkout music at USPSA.
If I can't play DaBaby before I shoot a stage on a
Convertible.
loudspeaker,
Let's go.
No matter where you shoot, what you shoot, we're all super annoyed by the super old fuddy guys that pick up brass or the reacher grabbers.
fuds
Whatever, suspenders, whatever, 1911s, who cares? Whatever, ignore it, walk on. What annoys me the most about USPSA is you're probably going to spend like 6 hours there. It's going to be like almost an entire day.
It's a good half a day.
solid
And-
half day. Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot for about 2 minutes total. And it's like a horrible...
If
like,
you're good, it's shorter than that.
mostly resetting, mostly watching other people shoot, but we've found it worthwhile enough that we should continue to show up.
Yes.
Even though I hate tape and targets and looking at other people and talking to them and existing with them.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to bring a few things. And really those things are just a gun, something to put it in, a holster, and some magazines and something to put it in, which could be as simple as a pocket. You can show up with your super cool tactical belt with this Farland. You can show up with a gamer rig. You can show up with a concealment rig. I promise you, you won't win the first match anyways, so it doesn't matter.
It would have to be like a pretty exceptionally bad local match, likely for
Yeah.
you to win. Yeah.
Or you are
you're a
just an
savant.
absolute sleeper shooter
Yeah.
Yeah.
who is just Rain Manning it up in just dry firing at home.
And you are. That's
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 you.
definitely
And
you.
you're doing a good job.
watching this right now?
And you need to go prove it.
And the only way
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
do that is by buying Gun Thoughts merch and showing up to USPSA matches.
What advice would you give to new shooters who have maybe come to a match or two and they're still struggling and they're maybe getting a little frustrated and they don't really know how to progress?
I think the one piece of advice I would give to shooters if they're kind of struggling
Yeah.
and they think they should be a little bit better, but they can't quite see why some other folks are significantly better than them. I would focus on your transitions. I think transitions are the big thing that shooters don't practice. You know, maybe you dry fire like, you know, a little bit at home, or maybe you
Right.
dry fire a lot. But I think people really just focus on
trigger press, I
whipping
think,
the gun
and
out of the
draws,
holster
yeah.
really fast, right, to the
Yeah.
first shot.
Yeah.
You know, with like par times and stuff.
Right.
I would probably set up like handful of targets in your room on the walls, right? You could print those off. You could buy them online. You could cut them out of cardboard.
Sticky
or you
notes.
could just, sticky notes, put a piece of tape up there, and work on transitions. I think transitions are probably like the most overlooked thing.
Hashtag multicam FUDlore. If you see something online, they use a lot of words, they make 0 sense, and they're teaching you how to shoot, and it makes no sense, and it does not make you a better shooter.
Would you say if they
Multicam
call
FUDlore.
themselves a tactical shooter?
I would say that it increases the chances of it being multicam FUDlore.
Yep.
Not all tactical shooters are bad.
We can't use any of this. This is so bad.
But a lot of them are, and we will name them all right now in this list.
Let's go. Let's go.
List, and it's just ad.
No,
They're all blurred out.
It's just our fault. We click on followers on Instagram and just scroll down. How do we separate the multicam FUDlore from the real stuff, Jimothy?
I think multicam FUDlore is basically just the new and improved version of
classic FUDlore.
Classic FUDlore,
Right.
like Elmer Fudd. Like he wears suspenders, he probably shoots in 1911 in like a leather holster, and he thinks you should do everything one way because this is the way he was taught. If you think about it,
Yes.
the tactical FUDlore, the multicam, and the
Traded the 1911 for
they traded the 1911
for a
STI.
Roland special.
for an STI
In a safari land with
Safariland.
woodland
Yeah.
cry pants.
with woodland cry pants
Yep.
and leg straps.
Yeah, wow.
That's that new FUDlore?
Yeah. If you think that there's only one way to do things and you're not willing to discuss alternatives with other people during your training, you just might be a modern FUD.
Okay, so to wrap up, what are our final thoughts on 1, USPSA, and 2, on Jim Krantz? So, my final thoughts on USPSA. USPSA is a good tool for you to grow as a shooter. These skills are applicable outside of just playing USPSA, and playing USPSA is fun, so maybe you should try it. I think this video is coming out before New Year's, so why don't you make it a New Year's resolution to go to a USPSA match? And don't make it for the whole year, guys, because then you're just gonna forget. Make it for like by the end of February, okay? Okay. Now, next, moving on to Jim Krantz. Jim is a very cool guy. There are also bad things about Jim. Jim is not all good.
He only likes
One.
Asian food.
He only likes Asian food. And so we have only eaten at the same Thai restaurant every day that he's been here.
Yep.
They have an extensive menu.
We have Mexican today, though.
That's not, that is true, but it's not the point I'm making. Third and biggest negative for me is that I cannot tell when Jim is being sarcastic. And usually when people are trying to make it hard to tell when they're being sarcastic, I can tell that they're being sarcastic because I do the exact same sarcasm gaslighting. But I do not understand Jim's sarcasm gaslighting, and I do not know what is real and what is fake anymore. And I'm freaking out.
My final thoughts on USPSA are, I think it's an awesome opportunity. When I first started like shooting seriously, I would go to an indoor range and shoot in groups and shoot those like dumb little 8x11 tactical paper things, whatever. Doesn't matter. Or go out in the woods and whatever. And then I found USPSA, and I actually found others worse matches before that. But USPSA is an awesome opportunity to like actually do dynamic moving and shooting, watch how good people do it, and practice your shooting skills and give you something to work on later. I think that is
And you meet
awesome.
people who want to do that with you.
Totally, yeah.
That's huge.
I think it's cool to have Jim out here because he was in this exact same position, you know, a year ago or whatever. He can teach us basically like,
And he
hey,
glowed up.
he glowed up. And he's like, hey, here's how I glowed up. And here's how you can glow up. And he honestly dropped some really cool knowledge bombs on us. And
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I don't think I'll be the same shooter after this. I'm not plugging his training group. Don't pay for that shit.
Don't.
But like there's something to be said for people who are really, really good at shooting. Jim is one of those guys, and
he knows his shit.
He knows his shit.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well, I think it was super cool because I was able to kind of go back to a point that I was at, in my shooting.
Being bad.
And
Stop roasting me, Jim.
but it was really cool to see, these guys and the point that they're at in their shooting, and it kind of reminded me like some phases I went through when I was trying to get better at shooting, and kind of the way I worked through those problems, and I was able to present that to these guys and actually see some huge improvements, which was really awesome because I think these guys have a ton of potential, and I personally,
Say something nice about. Yeah, we're good shooters. Yeah, we're good. Say something nice about gun thoughts. We're the best shooters in the world.
these guys are all grandmasters in my book.
Yeah.
If you have any semblance of a competitive nature within you and you're interested in getting better at shooting, then there's nothing stopping you from going to USPSA. The worst thing that can happen is that you learn that you're not super good. And you have two choices. You can go hide in a hole for the rest of your life and pretend that you're good, or you can go and try and get better and compete against people who are better than you, and they may not fit the mold of what you think a good shooter might be, which is like a super top tier tactical dude wearing cries shooting at, I don't know, whatever. And you could actually try and improve yourself. And I think that USPSA is really good for that because it puts a lot of perspective for what good shooting actually is. You can look at Instagram all day and see sub-second draws at 7 yards, and then you can actually go to USPSA and find out that there's people who are really f***ing good, and they dunk on that really small metric. As far as Jim goes, we wouldn't have met him if we didn't start doing USPSA. One other question for you. What are you working on as a shooter to be better? Like, what can you work on now for yourself?
Yeah.
So, like we talked about, I did make it to Grandmaster, and some people that don't completely understand the sport might think that that's the highest level, right? And you've won, you've achieved something. But I think that's kind of just the beginning to a new step in my shooting journey. And this is probably the hardest thing to do when you get pretty competitive is start looking for your own faults. And I think after 2021 Nationals, it was a unique opportunity for me to kind of look at what I was doing and what I could improve upon. And unlike in 2020, when I was still a little self-conscious about some of these things, now I'm able to look at it with a little bit more of a critical eye. And there's a few key areas that I think I'd like to work on over the 2022 shooting season. And most of those are really just refinement of the fundamentals. At the end of the day, like shooting USPSA, any type of practical shooting, there's nothing really special about it. You're just out there shooting the gun, executing the really, really basic fundamentals. And the difference between someone who's just your average Joe, wants to go to the range, shoot his gun a little bit, and someone who's a very competitive USPSA person is they're just executing the same fundamentals significantly faster. So I think at the end of the day, everybody can stand to gain something from USPSA, and I'd really like to see some people go out there and give it a shot if you're kind of on the fence about it. I'm an open book if you want to message me at Jim Elmtree. That's my Instagram. I try to respond to all those DMs if people have questions, if they have a video that they want me to look at. You can also reach me by email. The link is on my website, elmtreetrainingroup.com. And if you're just wondering, a quick little, hey, how can I get into a match near me? Let me know, and I can definitely help you use some tools on the USPSA website, practice score, and get you on your way to shooting your first match.
Sick.
Yeah.
So something you guys have to know about Jim is he started out like us, a jam shooter. We're all Jim.
Right.
We're all jam shooters. First off,
yeah.
He started out like us.
But you started off at a level that's lower than GM, which we
are all
personally.
GM shooters, just like Tony Cowden.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly the same.
Yes.
Exactly like that.
For I haven't figured out how to use a Nook yet.
Okay, guys, welcome to this video. It is called "Getting Shooting Faster, Better."
Yep.
Get more better.
with
Shooting
Jim,
faster.
Accurately.
with Jim Carrey, with Jim Cramps,
Krampus. Merry Christmas.
What's your name?
Why did I agree to this?
and he's here right now because we're going to be talking about USPSA in this video and why we think that a lot of you guys could get some value out of that.
You guys.
Yeah, because it's
You.
like 0.4% women. So you guys and
That
gals.
high. Workspace, right? I learned that word
Always.
this weekend.
Workspace.
That's a
Workspace.
new word for me.
You gotta stay in your work.
It's like right here.
It's right here.
Okay. Like
Right there.
Super close.
Like,
I gotta be breathing.
Like you can smell it, you can lick it.
Well, you spend 90% of your time eating, right?
If
So
you
that's
need-
your workspace.
If
Mostly
you need
right
to
here.
add lube, you could spin on it.
You could.
'Cause it's
So you've got all your gear, and you've shown up to your first USPSA match, and you've taken the dumbass safety brief that they make you take.
It is dumb.
It's pretty dumb.
And
or you lied and
you're
said
shooting.
you shot USPSA.
That's true. That's a
Or
good.
that-
that's a
Don't
good
do
strategy.
that.
Here's the problem with Warzone. Warzone has hackers. And so do...
Does USPSA?
Not really.
You were hacking today, I know it.